I'm JoJo White, and I am the founder of a nonprofit corporation called Clear Rounds for Clean Water. We raise money at horse shows. Hopefully, we're going to start doing this all across the country. Right now, we are simply in Texas, and all of our money goes to Rotary water projects through also a foundation part of Rotary that's called WashRag, which stands for
the Water and Sanitation Rotary Action Group.
Action Groups. And I would like to introduce my good friend, Dr. Jeremy Penner, who is here visiting with us today. Now, Jeremy is involved in a project in Remba Island, Kenya. And Clear Rounds for Clean Water wants to focus our majority fundraising towards Jeremy's project in Remba Island this year. We have a horse show in September that is called the Texas Rose Classic. It is September 14th through 18th at the Texas Rose Horse Park in Tyler, Texas. So just tell me a little bit about, where is Remba, first of all?
So Remba Island, it's in Kenya, in Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria is the second largest freshwater lake in the world, and ironically, none of it's good for drinking unless it's treated. So there's this tiny island off the coast of Kenya in Lake Victoria, which is basically a flat rock, which has anywhere between 5,000 and 10,000 people living on it.
What I think is kind of neat about the Remba Island project that you and I have been talking about is the fact that Clear Rounds for Clean Water is going to come in and do some of this because we want to make the water source sustainable. And we're going to kind of get a 2-for-1 in this, which I think is real exciting about funding a project, because we're going to be able to get the water there and have it sustainable, which I want you to explain. But at the same time, when you get that, immediately you have the structure, and then that will encourage the healthcare facilities to be there on a permanent basis.
Right.
So that's why we're really excited. And then that's for some of the HIV problems, the malaria, the vaccination for this children. So it's almost like we're getting, like I said, again, this 2-for-1 bang for our buck that I'm real excited about. So explain a little bit about how they're going to go about with this water kiosk, which, by the way, I'm real excited about the fact it's solar.
Right.
So talk about that.
Yeah, so LifeStraw was really what we considered an interim or temporary solution while we developed and designed what would be long-term and sustainable, and also raised the money for it. And so now in January of this year, a team of technical experts who are Rotarians, water and sanitation experts, came to Remba and spent a few days on the island doing an assessment and then designing what would really work for that population.
Isn't this a great pilot program, though? Aren't other people looking at this kind of a situation as an example of what can be done in smaller communities like this? Aren't we kind of getting involved on the ground level of kind of a pilot project that's going to be looked at by other people?
Right. WashRag, which is the Water and Sanitation Rotarian Action Group, is really keen on this project. They think that this might be something that can be replicated in other places, and we're going to have a good evaluation framework so we can actually measure what works and what doesn't, and how it can be replicated in other places. So Rotary is also excited about it, and we've already got 10 Rotary clubs that are going to be helping support the island, the project, along with Clear Rounds for Clean Water.
So that's one of the reasons that Clear Rounds for Clean Water is committed to working with Rotary projects solely, almost, simply because the Rotarian goes over on their own funding, their own time, everything. That dollar, that donation is not filtered through lots of hierarchy and different bureaucracies. It goes right to the source of the problem, which I think is the beauty of WashRag and the beauty of Rotary projects, which is why, of course, I'm a Rotarian and you're a Rotarian. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the reasons I got involved in Rotary, is just seeing an organization that's so dedicated to service. People are volunteering their time, putting their own money into their expenses, and so every dollar that's donated from outside of Rotary goes to the projects. None of it is filtered off in administrative fees.
And that's when you see a huge impact, don't you? When you see all of that
Right.
going in. Yeah.
And because Rotarians live everywhere, and there's Rotary clubs all over the world, the money can go directly to a project the money can go directly to people on the ground who can run the project. It doesn't have to go through a big organization, and it doesn't have to be planned by people who have no idea of what's happening on the ground.
Which is in itself its own safety valve and almost safeguard to your dollar, if you don't mind me saying that. When I
Right.
know that there's somebody that you know personally that's the member of that Rotary right next to Remba Island, or let's say even in Nairobi, that is guarding that money, that is knowing this is here, Jojo, this is what exactly we're going to do for it, with Remba and Jeremy's coming by, all this kind of thing. It's a huge. For me, because I feel like I have a real fiduciary contract with any sponsor or any donation that I get, that it goes for exactly what I say it's going for. And I think in this day and age, when you're very discriminating on where your charitable dollar goes, I think that's a big plus with everything that's going on in Rotary. And I was very, very impressed with everybody who was there at WashRag this time for the World Water Summit.
Yeah, WashRag is definitely full of experts, and I agree about the donation money. I live in Kenya full time, and so any money that gets donated to our projects, I personally take responsibility for, and I can give feedback on exactly how that money is spent, and we account for every shilling. And there's no chance of money going anywhere but to the projects, which is reassuring.
Very reassuring, yeah. What are some of the right things that you see that are happening with Rotary being involved, and maybe let's say specifically in Remba? Some of the right things that are going, and people are going in the correct direction as far as solving some of these huge health issues, as opposed to some of the things that maybe in the past, whether it be in Remba or other projects that you've known, maybe have been the wrong ways to approach things. Explain a little bit about that you see, the positive aspects.
Right. Well, I think on Remba Island, and the approach that Rotary takes is really good, because the solutions really come from the community. The organization that I work with in Kenya, Partners in Community Transformation, and I'm the treasurer of that organization. We're based in Kenya, and we've been working with that community on Remba Island for the last several years. And so we had time to really find out what's going to work on Remba Island, and Rotary or WashRag didn't try and develop a plan from here in the U.S. and say, okay, this is what you should do there. But you know that the solutions are going to come from people who are there.
Who are on the ground.
Yeah.
That's what we look for. This is exactly the type of project that we try to seek out. We want our funds to go to the people who are boots on the ground, who are right there.
And I'm not a water expert, so we still need those other expertise, and that's why WashRag fits in so well, because they have water sanitation experts all over the world. So where we have those gaps, they'll send people in who are completely pay for their own trips. They're volunteers, but they're experts, and they'll help us come up with the solution. They'll design the plans, and we'll have engineering drawings of what's going to work, and then we just need to implement it.
And you're going to keep us updated with news and video clips and pictures and updates and all sorts of things on how this project is going.
Yeah, this project's moving forward, and so we'll be documenting all of it and sending it, and also wanting to hear what people think about it when they see this.
Yeah, and that's going to be neat. You get to continue on going and building that community, really from the ground up. And I'm going to try to keep going out and building this community, which is really just out. I don't actually know where it is, because I really don't understand it yet.
Right.
I guess it's all out there in cyberspace someplace.
Yeah.
I don't really understand how it works. But I'll try to build this community with all of my help and all the people who are involved with Clear Routes for Clean Water. And you can go back with our blessing, and hopefully soon some good proceeds and things from some of the things we're doing here, and build your community from the ground up to make it safe for kids and the children and the families that really need our help.
Yeah.
One of the things that I want to express again is that we have a major horse show coming up in September of this year, the 14th through the 18th. It's the Texas Rose Classic in Tyler, Texas, at the beautiful Texas Rose Horse Park. And it's an A show. It's beautiful. It's 5-6 days of rolling hills. It's a beautiful area. I hope someday that you can come out and see it while you're here.
Yeah.
And please join us for 2 or 3 ringside events. We will be there. We're going to have silent auctions with all sorts of things that are donated from friends of yours, from friends of mine that are people who are all over the world, because riders and equestrians get around too, and these things, you know, they're important to them. So we're hoping to have some great fundraising events.